Footy's back, and so are the Blues. Da 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 da. Josh Fraser. Ba da da da. Anyway, this is Footy Unfilterated. I am your exceedingly stoked host, James Clemens. He's got the Blues hat on. I did want to put on one of my, many Carlton t-shirts, and then realised I had quite literally washed all of them this afternoon. So good, great thinking ahead by me.
Geez, that must have been a big day yesterday, Jim, if you had to wash all of your Carlton t-shirts.
There was a bit of cleaning up to do. And with me on the other side of this here screen is everyone's favourite Essendon fan. I'll tell you what, not located in any hotels anywhere near the MCG right now. It's Jez. Jez, what is cracking?
Well, Jim, I'm back in full-blown cricket training. I believe there's a few spots in the Australian border I could grab, so I'm throwing my hat in the ring. So as soon as we're done here with Footy Unfilterated, I'll be on the phone to George Bailey to try and shore up my spot for Mackay.
We were at the pub. George Bailey was there. This is maybe 18 months ago, and I did have
yesterday? No wonder.
I did think about just going, hey, look, you ever need a tidy leg spinner who can swing the bat and also jump behind the stumps in a pinch, and he's over 40 and he's got a big red beard, I'm your guy. Instead, I had a second...
We do fit the age bracket, don't we?
Exactly. I'm basically the same age as Mornis, and I had instead got another Stein and then forgot everything for the rest of the night, and then turned around, he was gone. Tell you what,
that's fair.
Steins are big. It's a lot of beer. Anyway, Jez, what a big week in footy. Round 23 is done.
Whoa.
And then all hell broke loose today. So we're going to do very quickly our round 23 wrap, give out some weekly awards, do one year nah, because I think we're going to extend out some year nahs next week and go back over some preseason predictions and everything that we had. Who were our biggest surprises, our worst performers, all that sort of stuff. We'll do some previews and picks for next week, which is... People have gotten up in arms about this. Oh, half the games in round 24 don't matter. Half the games in round 24 ever matter. Everyone just needs to chill. This, it doesn't matter if it's 8 or 10 teams in the finals. Shut up. Then we'll also, cover a bit of the news that broke today. So it's Footy Without the Bull. Let's get into it. It's Footy Unfilterated. What can I bring? Righto, Jez. So, two big ones today. Number one, the easy, happy, nice one. Carlton has a new coach, Josh Fraser, 3+ years as rumoured. I think it'll be officially announced tomorrow by the club, which is very nice. Very exciting because, the Blues are in the wild card round and we don't know what to say. They're in the finals. So, it's the wild card round. Does it count as a final? No one knows. It's just, it's postseason, it's finals, so everyone just shush. And that came on the back of 2 draws this weekend, which was pretty nuts, right? The first time we had 2 teams, 2 games draw in the same round since 1977. It was actually 77. Round 7, 1977, which is pretty crazy. 2 draws in a week is nuts, but obviously one of them being Hawthorn Collingwood for the second time this year, Jez, which has never happened in the history of footy.
That is nuts.
Pretty good. It was pretty wild. And then the Blues snagged the wildcard spot with a draw versus the Western Bulldogs. I was at the pub for this one. No one knew what to do. It's like the Blues fans are we're in. This is awesome, but we didn't win. I don't know what's going on. This is strange. And sort of sit there and you have one more beer and then you just watch the Swans beat the ever-living hell out of the Bombers and the next day, all hell breaks loose again. So there you go. Footy. Yes, we're gonna do the ladder wrap and sort of go through the permutations of the games for this coming weekend and how it all could shape up. But obviously, the big story today is the Swans' alleged incident in Melbourne after their game, and it does not sound good, Jez. It doesn't. So, in fact, you could probably say it sounds pretty bloody bad, and. Yeah, so here's the official reading. It was the Swans have notified the AFL and relevant authorities and cannot provide further comment at this stage. about an alleged incident, blah, 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 taking place in Melbourne. And then Victoria Police were saying investigating a report of sexual assault in East Melbourne on August 17. This was all then 2 and 2 together. We had Matthew Pavlich come out and, clubs love a good club statement. But this was fronting the media essentially, so that it sort of shows them doing something. The thing that got me here, Jez, straight off the bat, was quite simply two things. The fact that he could not just say no when asked if any Swans players had been taken into custody. Seems pretty big.
If it's not no, if it's not a straight up no, then it's a yes.
It's a pretty easy answer to answer no to if they haven't been taken into custody.
It's either no or yes. There's not really an in between, is there, Jim? You're either in custody or you're not in custody.
Exactly.
You either were arrested or you weren't arrested. It's you're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. Oh, probably poor choice of Anyway, So I'm gonna stop there before I get myself cancelled.
So that's the craziest part of all of this going on, and the fact I think that he one of the other thing that I was trying to allude to there is yes, the not answering has anyone been taken into custody, not being able to say no, and the other one was shocked and disappointed, which sort of alludes to an idea that something has actually happened that they've now been told about, and that they're trying to figure out exactly what has happened. But the fact that he said shocked and disappointed is at least an admission that the club is aware of something that's occurred, and now they have to sift through the rubble. So obviously anything involving sexual assault.
Shocked by it and also disappointed by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to touch it. I kind of hope that it's all it's a thing to say, I think, but you sort of hope for everyone involved, not just the players, that it's just a big misunderstanding, a mountain. But let's be honest, it's hardly ever is when it gets to this scale of reporting. As much as we can, journos and stuff like that, about, just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. These types of things, they're usually pretty bang on. And they do, as much as they don't, they're irresponsible with their reporting around football stories, like, trades and all that sort of stuff. This sort of stuff they do tend to take quite seriously, and they do tend to try and be very accurate, because obviously there's Bibles and all that sort of stuff. They want to have their pants suit off. I really hope and that it's not what it seems, but unfortunately, where there's smoke, Jim, there's always seems to be fire. And if they are guilty of something, then I hope they get the full force of the law thrown at them, because we don't condone that type of behaviour in any way, shape or form.
Not at all.
Yeah,
and you sort of hope that the victim, whoever it was, is getting as much, support as possible and everything. What a horrible situation. And I think you mentioned this just before we jumped on as well. You sort of think maybe we'd move past this perhaps as with the professionalism of football and stories like this occurring and whatnot. And it's just none of it sits right. The other part of it that I always find fascinating is when stories like this break, the rush from AFL fans to either name what they thought has happened, what they've heard has happened, what a mate of a mate's cousin said has happened, recycling photos from the UK from last year in the case of the one with a lady's teeth. It's a horrible picture, etc. And there's seemingly no veracity to that one. But yeah, the AFL fandom really does have this amateur sleuth sort of vibe to it a lot of the time when stuff like this occurs, and it's usually not for the good. It's always it's a lot of hearsay,
bit of, mouth breathing going on with the ones who are very vocal about what they can guarantee happened. And there's a good reason, Jim, why I tend to stay off the Facebook in particular groups, and not just in footy, but in general, because they're a very toxic atmosphere, as you can potentially tell by the comments on the power rankings. They tend to escalate into some pretty negative, I guess, commentary pretty quickly. So you can only imagine what, the type of, let's be honest, dickheads that are out there that, and the things they would say. Like we don't even need to repeat what they will go on with, because we all know, as sort of, I'd like to think we're sensible human beings, Jim, for the most part. Maybe not with some of the choices we make as far as, but nothing harmless. I don't know where I was going with that, but nothing harmless. But sorry, nothing that would cause harm. Mostly harmless with our poor choices, usually around alcohol and getting home late, and our wives wanting to murder us to sleep. The type of people who comment on this stuff, they're usually a certain type of people that get banned from games for saying things to footballers who aren't the same colour as them, or things about their sexuality. Like, it's always the same type of people, and they have a very toxic attitude towards this kind of behaviour, and it's not just football, unfortunately, Jim. It's society, and we don't stand for it here. So if you think we're whatever, you don't agree with us, you're welcome to take yourself off and not listen to us, or be on our page. For all I care, I'll happily lose a listener if your attitude is that that's okay in any way, shape, or form. So
yeah, I find it weird, because I've got a couple of mates who are just like sort of endlessly fascinated by it, and will send through like the latest thing that's come from a WhatsApp group, and you're like, none of this is real. Like, none of it is ever real. And this sort of glee with which they go into the muckraking sort of blows my mind. So I guess the one thing that we can discuss out of this is, I guess, repercussions. And like, we have no idea what's going to happen with the Swans. We don't know what will happen with any of the players, if anything, obviously. But it's the sort of thing that can obviously galvanise the remaining team, or completely blow it to smithereens, right?
Blow it apart.
It feels very much like a team going, hey, where's the nearest, high-powered rifle, and where's my foot? Because I'm just going to go shoot myself in it as quickly as I can.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's several. Several is, it's not one or two, Jim. And if, all I keep going back to is a report of a sexual assault. That isn't something that I think is going to galvanise anyone. I can't see any good coming of this for the club, and to be honest, I don't care if it does, because, as you mentioned, there's, someone, or hopefully not too many people, who are the victims of whatever's happened, and all the focus. And that's what gets lost with all the social media sleuthing and the Neanderthal behaviour by these people, is that there's actually a victim or victims out there whose lives have changed forever, and will never be the same, no matter how much help or support they get. And that's the worst part of this, is that, there's and even if it's an innocent mistake, it's still, there's lives changed forever, and all the football repercussions are meaningless compared to what's happened to hopefully not too many people, and hopefully it isn't as I said, I just hope that it's not as bad as it's being made out, more so for any potential victim's sake, because you hear stories, and we listen to podcasts and read books about survivors and all that sort of stuff, and you'd hate to think that people are still being put through that type of thing in any way. So, as far as the footy side of it goes, I couldn't give a stuff if they fell out of the competition, to be honest, when it comes to, the reality of life for someone. So, that's... I don't know. I just can't stop shaking my head at it, Jim. Like I said, I thought we were past this. I thought this was still a rugby league domain. This is something. I know they're from Sydney, but it's the sort of behaviour you would hear about. You would expect to hear about on a rugby league Mad Monday or Origin camp or something like that. But I don't know. It's very disappointing as a footy fan, to be honest with you.
It sucks. And it's like as this sort of story.
And as a human being, I should reiterate. So
it's the sort of thing that when you see a headline like that, you're like, oh, God. And you're sort of facing the simple realization, like, footy's awesome, footy's fun. And when there's stuff that isn't to do with footy and it's not fun and it impacts footy, you're like, this is just the worst. Like, and it's really inescapable as well. Like, from trying to, like, you can't really separate the two in a case like this. And yeah, you sort of look towards like the rest of this year, and you're just like, this is going to be a story that keeps on going and going and going. And
well, the justice system isn't the quickest on the planet, so it's going to be something that keeps reappearing at every court date and all that sort of stuff. And whenever something is, and then you'll have your journalists who'll be, diving through dumpsters and, all that sort of stuff for a comment from the family and a comment from the lawyers. And then so every time that comes up, it'll be, and again, I just keep going back to the, whoever's the victim here, they're going to have to go through it every time, because it is such a high profile sport that it's not just going to be, one report in the middle of the Herald Sun. It's going to be front page news, all over socials, all over TV. Fox Footy are going to be breaking news every 5 minutes with whatever developments happen for God knows how long. So it's just a horrible thing to have happened. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a shame for all involved.
It is
more, no one more than the victims. So
well, the great
and
thing,
we can't help but talk about it, can we, Jim?
Exactly. The cool thing is
you have to talk about it because
we understand that the AFL will probably handle this in the very best of fashion. There'll be no missteps. They won't probably screw something up. They probably
really hope there's not a waiver being waved around. Oh,
jeez. Yeah. So it's pretty horrible, and I think this is like the sort of story that can obviously sink a season and sort of really just like cast a pall across like a team, obviously, and then that sort of tarnishes like their entire year, and so it should, because it's a horrible thing that seemingly occurred. But oh God,
absolutely,
it stinks. It stinks. It stinks. Right. There was some other stuff that happened this week. We got 7,345 people at a game for GWS West Coast. That's not many. That's.
Was this one in Canberra or was this one?
This was actually at NG too. I think Canberra, they don't draw too badly, and like you sort of start having that thought of like, maybe they should just move to Canberra. This is pretty shocking.
I think, I might save my thoughts on this one for some nars next week.
The Giants,
a little bit to say on this.
I just feel like the lack of, I don't know, just even calling them the Giants, which doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. Yeah, Blues, Bombers, Hawks, Tigers, whatever. But there's, there's nothing really.
They don't really mean anything. I don't know. They haven't. It was. You had the Suns and the Giants come in at the same time, right? And if you look back historically in the way their lists have been built, you'd have to say the Giants have done a better job. But if you look at the building of a brand and a club, somehow the Suns have, and I won't say they've got it right, they've fluked their way into having a better brand and a better following than the Giants, when everything else says the Giants should be it should have been the success because of how much, they've played in a grand final. They've had successful seasons without winning it. The Suns have made one final series. And then they absolutely crapped the bed this year with a team that at one point was premiership favourites. Yet they are still miles ahead of GWS.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
Somehow. And Tassie are about to come in and steal even more of that thunder, because I can tell you now that is going to be that's getting momentum with their VFL side, and it's going to be big. I think.
Yep.
I'm excited for Tassie, Jim. I've got that quiver
as a paid up member. I'm excited for Tassie as well. It's going to be even worse for the GWS Giants next year when Toby Green and Zach Butters are playing for Geelong. So. Other little bits and bobs, a couple of retirements, or at least announcements that this is it. I mean, Dion Prestia got the it's been great. Thanks for coming, Dion. going to retire a Richmond legend. He's like, I didn't retire from footy. I'm just going to not play for you next year. And everyone's like, oh, ghoul. Just give it the old ghoul. And it was, I feel like this has happened as well. Was it the Colts coach? Who was the one who actually for the Buccaneers ends up getting them to coaching them to a proper Super Bowl win, right? And it was a couple of years ago. He was like retired by why is his name Bruce?
Was it Bruce Arians?
Bruce Arians was retired by the Colts.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not done. What are you doing? He's just like gone and gotten another job. So Dion Prestia goes out, a famous Richmond man until he goes and plays with GWS next year. Nathan Broad is also retiring from Richmond. It sort of feels like he's put his hand up and go, I'd like to go to West Coast with all my other mates. And West Coast I
was going to say
we're good.
Yeah, there's a big rumour going that he'll end up at West Coast and with a assistant coaching transition role. So
like that.
It'll be interesting to see see what happens there, because there is a quite a bit of Richmond over there in the West Coast. So
yeah. And then we've got the other big one was obviously Steele Sidebottom announcing that this will be his last season too. So I mean, Steele's kind of like this, and it was pretty weird because he sort of announced that, and there's like all this great emotional stuff on Fox Footy, and then he's out for the actual game because he got sick. You're like, geez, that was a lot of build-up for...
Definitely not made of Steele.
Yeah, there you go. I'm like, I've got 2 kids who are trying to get me sick right now as well. I get it. The other ones, we've got a couple of good sort of, re-upping of contracts. Tom Sparrow sticking with the Demons for another 5 years, which is pretty good. He's been awesome this year. Bailey Humphrey is signed through to 2030 with Gold Coast, which is a bit of an odd one considering he was sort of like half out the door and they've not exactly been good this year. So he's just like, wait, I think this... No,
and he hasn't been good this year.
Makes you wonder if they sort of went, we really actually kind of do need you, so we'll up our contract offer and here's a bit of extra cash. And he's like, sick jet skis. So he's on the Gold Coast. Dad, we got jet skis. Well, it's like, yes.
How many did you get, Bailey?
5.
How many do you want, Dad?
5. 1 for every day of the
5,
week.
But I can get more.
They're all like painted hot green and pink. It's like the 80s. We got a couple of, was it the one report, wasn't it? It was just the Van Rooyen hit on Aliir.
Yeah.
And they're appealing the 3-match ban that he copped for that, which is hard, but you would appeal it, I think, because you need him. So
true. That's the only reason, because I looked at that one and then you go back and look at the Darcy Fogarty one, and I think this one was slightly worse.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be up against it to get the 3 games.
So I think
reduced. That'd be their best bet, is to have it reduced, because they're not going to get him off. I can guarantee you that.
So I think there was also a bunch of like we had Lockie Ash getting pinged for abusive language again. Was it Jai Caldwell also once again like careless contact with an umpire? So I think that's upping the Bombers like fines for the team as well as for the player, which is pretty crazy. And then there's a couple of other careless contact with an umpires here and there.
I mean, we can afford it because we're not paying out like 3 coaches or something for the next 5 years. So, yeah, just keep running into umpires, you gooses.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, that's kind of it. And then the injuries. I mean, it's kind of weird because, second last round of the season, we have Sheasel and Zeret just like get matching shiners.
Oh, yeah.
They were absolutely... The Sheasel one was real puffy, whereas at least Zeret kind of looked like just a real proper black eye. The Sheasel one... When he got the whack, I don't know if you were watching that one, Jez, but he went straight off. He's like, no, something's wrong. That's not good.
I watched the mini, yeah.
And off he went.
I'm pretty sure he was heard screaming, Adrian, as he was coming off.
It was so puffy.
And then
So puffy, that eye. So tough one for Shees. So he probably won't play. Obviously, he probably won't play next week in a dead rubber against Sydney. And Zeret, I mean, that's a end to his Essendon career, possibly. Who knows? If he gets back out there, good on him. I do love that you chucked in the other one, which was heart in mouth sort of stuff of my beloved Will Hayward, who took an absolute screamer in a huge moment of the match against the Bulldogs as well, and landed in a way.
And he was so important at that stage.
He'd been so good.
So important.
And the way he landed with his leg outstretched and sort of landing, collapsing over itself, as someone who's still rehabbing their Achilles, because I'm old and unathletic and, it's mostly fixed, but it can always get better. It was like an electric shot down my spine when I saw that. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And then he did the Kobe, which if you remember when Kobe tore his Achilles, he still took the 2 free throws because if he didn't, he wouldn't be able to come back into the game. Will Hayward goes back 45 metres out where he's kicking it from.
Ice in his veins, Jim.
Kicks the goal.
Ice in his veins.
For a drawn game, that was a pretty big moment. So good on him. And then
it was huge.
He sort of went off and sort of came back and was running around.
Yeah, and he was running up and down.
Yeah.
So I was extra. I saw, obviously, I was watching that when it happened, but the day before I went up to Ballarat to watch my son play for Learmont. They were playing Rokewood. And the game actually got called off just before half time because a young fella named Gus Charles, who I actually was coached a couple of years ago in the under-18s, he just turned 19. He was involved in a tackle where players fell across his leg. And when they all got up, his leg was pointing the wrong way.
Oh.
So the game, unfortunately, he was... my son said that he was standing at centre-half back. This happened in the forward line. And he said all I could see was his ankle pointing the way it shouldn't be. So unfortunately, he... Yeah. So then I saw this and I'm like, oh, no, not again. It's already been the weirdest, quirkiest weekend of footy so far. But, yeah, so shout out to Gus. I hope you're doing well, young fella. The poor kid had just turned 19. He'd had a night planned with mates and was heading off for a surfing trip later in the year, and it's all been put on hold. So, luckily he's only a young fella and he'll bounce back. But, yeah, that was a damn shame, Jim.
Shocking.
Damn shame. Footy.
Shocking.
Yeah. Absolutely no malice in it either. It was just one of those footy accidents. So, yeah. But, then I saw the Will Hayward thing. I went, oh, my God, it's going to happen again.
But it seems like it didn't seem like a tear or anything. They were getting scans and stuff done. We don't actually have any more news yet. So, fingers crossed he's all good.
Hopefully just a stinger.
Yep.
Yeah.
He at least gets this week off if he doesn't want to play because, you're sort of in the wild card. You want to beat Freo, but at the same time, you'd rather have Will Hayward not tear an Achilles. So,
correct.
Here we go. All right, round 23, game wraps. No Thursday night footy because we got AFLW, which was good. So, just had a weird one.
Actually, a pretty good game.
I was sitting there on
I didn't watch it all, but
I watched a bit of it with the Squids, and I'm just like, this is all right. And now I'm also just cooked, and I need to go to bed anyway, so it's probably just as well there's no footy on. So Friday, we got Freo Adelaide, an awesome game, 112-88. Crom stuck with them for a fair chunk of this, and then Freo sort of kept them at arm's length just down the stretch, and it was a really, really, really good game where Fremantle just sort of flexed their class. And Miss was absolutely awesome. Couldn't miss a goal at any point, it felt like. The Prancing Pony did a bit of a no-show. Tracy was all right, but wasn't snagging too many goals. But, between Show Bolton, Sarong and co, Freo are just really good. Really, really good.
They've just got the cattle, when one's off, the Prancing Pony's been, a bit of a no-show for the last couple of weeks. So, and I think it was a couple of weeks ago that a miss was, didn't kick a goal, and then all of a sudden he's bobbed up for 5. So they've got a really good big man rotation sort of happening with form. Their midfield is awesome. Sarong this week was the one who decided he was going to dominate, and if he's, being well held, then, as you said, Bolton and Brayshaw, and God, it just keeps going, Jim. This was like the score probably flatters Freo a little bit because I thought it was a better game than the margin sort of showed. But and as you said, Adelaide just kept coming. But yeah, it was it was a good game. I enjoyed this one.
It was like just a perfect sort of Friday night game. Starts a bit late. Because the Crom tied it up, I think, in the fourth quarter as well. And you're like, this is awesome. And then Freo sort of just had like the run of the game most of the time after that. And got away with the win. Was it 5? Yeah, 5 goals in the fourth quarter. That helps. Saturday we had Richmond get their heads kicked in by the Saints, 94-45. Sure. North Melbourne put up a good fight against the Cats, 125-110. This was a really fun game as well. The Cats sort of had to withstand the barrage from the Roos, and they did a pretty good job of it.
I'm enjoying the way the Roos are, finishing the year. Like they've had that win last week against the Dogs, and then they took it right up to Geelong.
Well, they got it massive. Like
I'm really enjoying it.
At one point, I think in the first half, they're up by like 40 odd or something, and the Squids and Old Mate are sort of pottering around because this is Saturday afternoon. I'm doing some stuff in the backyard. I've got this on the iPad outside. And I'm watching it. I had it on the TV inside as well, just, taking over everything. And they're like, wait, what's happening? And I'm like, I think Geelong are doing the thing that Geelong do. And basically came back and had the lead by halftime already. They had 1 goal in the first quarter to 7. And they kicked 9 goals in the second quarter. And then it was like, the Roos didn't go away. They still, I think, led going into the fourth quarter. And then the Cats sort of just steadied and got their noses in front with the Polkinghorne goal late that sort of really steadied them. And then Sean Manor had the stealer at the very end. But it was a really entertaining Saturday afternoon game under the lid at Marvel. The Q Clash, Brisbane, 95, Gold Coast, 53. Gross. Will Ashcroft won the Ashcroft medal for being the best Ashcroft. Also the best player in the Q Clash.
Checks out.
Named after his dad. Suns, basket case. Petrarca stunk it up. Hawthorn, Collingwood, 92-92. Stupid game. Amazing game. So stupid. Dylan Moore. Like, as it's all happening as well, you're like, not again, surely. And quite famously, these two teams drew earlier in the season. And then they drew again. Dylan Moore, same bloke.
Yeah.
Come on. Him having the kick, the game-saving goal first time round after the siren. This time, it felt like no one really quite told him that the siren was coming either. They're like, just hold it up, Dylan, and really give it a roost. And like, the siren basically sounded as he was running in to kick it. And you're like, dude,
the presence of mind by the Collingwood players to actually make sure it didn't cross the line, and the Hawthorn players are just like, duh.
Just clear him out of the space, let it bounce.
I swear, they do some dumb stuff, Hawthorn. They really do. Like, Barris with the 50-metre penalty, that cost him, and Sicily just doing Sicily things. I'm telling you, Jim, he's going to cost them a more important game than this one with his antics if he doesn't pull his head in, and I'm going to laugh so hard when he does.
They should banish him to Tassie.
He's just a goose. Like,
penal colony. There we go.
Trade him straight up. Here, Ken, have him.
You need veteran leaders who definitely don't hate the entire island on which he was situated. Rowan Steele, that last goal was awesome. Like the Pies this game ruled because like the Hawks led early and it was just tied, it felt like, for half of it. And then the Pies went whack. Hawks pulled them all the way back in that third quarter. They go up big, and then the Pies brought it all the way back in the fourth, and obviously we end up with a draw. It was absurd. And I can't understand how this is happening again. And as it's unfurling, you're like, surely not. And surely it was. So the good thing was we could definitely tell what was going on from all those camera angles at the end.
Yep.
I don't know.
Do you know how many times, Jim, they've cut away to show us a extended replay of a passage of play while the play is going? and we miss. It happened in the Fremantle game. It happened yesterday in the Carlton game.
It did happen in the
a couple
yesterday.
of
It
times.
was crazy. I'm like, what is going on?
I think it was Mitch McGovern had taken that mark from a passage of play, and they're showing the passage of play all the way back to
the entire
bloody
passage
centre
of play.
bounce that happened 5 minutes earlier.
It was so weird.
And in the meantime, he's hit Brodie Kemp up, and you're like, can you guys just... Also, Gary Lyon and bloody Jonathan Brown can waffle on about, the finer details. Shut up, guys, and let us watch the footy.
It's crazy.
It's...
the Carlton Footy Club. Oh, the Western Bulldogs Footy Club. Oh, the Carlton Footy Club. Gary Lyon just... Look... He looks like someone rolled a wet cotton ball in like a hairdresser's, right? And then puffed it up. It's just, he looks just a mess. I think it's time, Gary. What are we doing with 2 R's? Anyway, shocking gear, but amazing. What a great game. Hawks Collingwood. I mean,
awesome game.
I believe there is a very real chance that we could get an elimination final out of those two if the Hawks miss the top 4, but we'll get to that in a second. Port, Melbourne. Melbourne smashed them 132-56. Power just absolutely yeah.
They're done.
Q in the rack. GWS killed the West Coast Eagles 111-57. Sure. Just like, yep.
Yeah, they played this one like it was already a dead rubber before it was an official dead rubber.
So I'm watching the end of this one this at the pub, and as it finished, like even the Giants players were like, whatever. Who cares?
Can we just go on holiday now?
Lockie Ash was awesome though. Dogs Carlton 82-82, an absurd game where it felt like Aaron Norton might have been Carlton's most valuable player in this one, missing 2 absolute gimme set shots that, as I'm sitting there, I could not believe that he missed both of them. And I'll tell you what, Artie Jones, every time he gets the ball, you are absolutely packing your dacks until he kicks it. And you're like, oh, thank you. Because he missed a couple of pretty easy chances there as well.
He's like Isaac Rankine from Timu. Because he does all the stuff that Isaac does, but only a little bit.
Yeah. The Blues, it was a pretty good game. Like Harry kicked some incredible goals again. We're just like, I can't believe he kicked that. That's fantastic. And Mitch McGovern, fantastic as well. Will Hayward, awesome. But really, it was like...
Sam Walsh is unbelievable.
The problem was like they should have won this one a lot easier than they did. Losing Will Hayward obviously hurt. But the Dogs didn't have Bont. They had Ed Richards running absolutely rampant. And I feel like we've just announced
he was awesome.
Josh Fraser as the coach. At some point, you should probably send someone to do a bit of a negating role on the one player on the Dogs who can actually hurt you. I'm just saying. And they didn't have a ruckman. And so we had Cripps in the ruck, which was actually good. We were dominating clearances for like the first half to a horrifying degree. And it sort of started falling off. And that's when the game script kind of flipped a bit on the Blues and it wasn't as easy. And I came away a little bit concerned, but the fact that, they got the draw, they hold on for dear life. Ed Richards, I don't know why he did the curl around when he was doing that run at the very end where he gets pinged for holding the ball. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he ran 50 metres before they even called it. Like he seemed to just go forever.
Yeah, it was wild.
I was like, when's he going to... Are they going to call this, or are they just going to let him run out of the stadium and across the road? He was off.
Just running up Collins Street. The other one was someone had the throw. I can't remember who that was. Croft, I think it was Jordan Croft, had one of the more obvious throws you'll see that didn't get called. So it sort of felt a bit footy gods that the Ed Richards thing happened rather than him just kicking it long and bouncing through for a point and the Blues losing. So we'll take the draw. And then finally, 112-76, the Swans beat the Dons, who did put up a bit of a fight in the second half. Looked like it was going to get real bad there real early, but wasn't that bad, really. Yeah,
I was watching the Dogs Carlton game up until halftime of this one, so I sort of saw the score gradually or quickly rising for the Swans. I thought, okay, I'm not going to bother watching the second half. And then as it got closer to the end of the Carlton Dogs game, it was Dons were coming back. I was like, oh, okay. And I watched the second half and the green shoots are there, Jim. Like the kids are starting to take a bit of the responsibility and lead the charge. So they come back and the the play was driven more by the young fellas, which I thought was awesome. So I'm not unhappy with how that game finished.
Nice.
I expected to be thumped by over 100. So as I've said to all for at least the last 6 or 7 weeks, anything under 100-point loss is a win in my book. So I'm sticking with that.
That's 4 points. All right. Ladder. Check.
Here we go.
The bottom 8 teams who are not going to feature in the postseason: Essendon at 2-20, brutal. Richmond 3-19. Essendon do have a chance to do the funniest thing ever next week and pull in North Melbourne. West Coast to 4-18. You got 6-16 Port in 15th. The Suns, my beloved Suns, what a disappointing 8-14 they are. North now 9-13. The GWS Giants and St Kilda Saints 10-12. And the Saints, for all the off-season moves, they have won. I think they finished 1 spot ahead of where they did last year. So, yeah. Good luck with that. And I guess
it's a very St Kilda thing to do.
And to flip the script, we'll go 1 through 10 the other way, right? So, Freo's top spot, lock that away. Swans 17-5, lock that away. Everything else is still up for debate and changing.
Which is awesome.
Which rocks. And this is why people complain. I'll get to this in nars, but this is still very fun. Round 24 has still got a lot going on. You have Brisbane, Hawthorn, and Melbourne all on 60 points. So you've got Brisbane 15-7, Melbourne 15-7, and Hawthorn 14-6-2, which is fun. The big thing there, I guess, is percentage, where the Lions are 2.2 percentage points up on the Hawks in between 3 and 4. And the Demons being in 5th feels pretty okay, but it's not as solid as you might think. They sort of still have to win to really...
Especially with their percentage,
111. So, because behind them are the Cats in 6th with a 120.2 percentage, which is way better than basically everybody in the top 10 apart from Freo and Sydney. So, they're doing very, very well. If the Cats can just beat the absolute bejesus out of Richmond, who knows what could happen. Then we've got Adelaide at 14-8 as well. So you sort of have, again, the tier of like the Lions, Hawks, and Demons. Then you got the tier of the Cats and the Crows. You got the Pies hanging out by themselves on 52 points. The Dogs on 50 and Carlton in 10th on 46. And so much can move. So which games actually matter next week and how can this all change? Well, let me talk you through it, Jez. Collingwood, Brisbane on Friday. Awesome game.
I'm all ears.
This is great. Collingwood win, they get 8th. If they lose, they can drop all the way to 9th if the Dogs beat Melbourne. So basically, Dogs would jump them. If the Lions win, they end up top 4, no matter what, basically. If the Lions lose, they can drop all the way to 7th, which is crazy. If Hawthorn, Melbourne, and Geelong all win, and Adelaide smash GWS and make up the 4.4 percentage points between them, which GWS pool
is on the cards.
It's in the rack over there. Just saying. So
they could also come out and kick a record score in the first quarter.
This is true. GWS just
depends how much fish oil Jake Stringer's sold that week.
So Brisbane in 3rd doesn't feel as quite solid as possible, but I mean, the Pies might also just rest everybody for wildcard round and Brisbane beat them pretty handily. So we'll see what happens. Carlton Freo. This has a bit of a permutation because if Carlton win, the Dogs lose, the Blues can finish 9th and they'll likely play against Collingwood. If Carlton win and the Dogs win,
massive.
Blues 10th. And they likely would play Melbourne, which is pretty crazy. Carlton lose, obviously they're in 10th, likely play Adelaide. But the weirdest part is it could also be Geelong, Melbourne, Hawthorn, or Brisbane, depending on what else happens, which is just insane. And like this is the fun part about, round 24, dead rubbers. There's very few dead rubbers in actual fact. Anyway, then you got Melbourne Dogs. If Melbourne win, they're in the top 6. They could even go top 4 if Brisbane or Hawthorn lose. Hawthorn play West Coast, they're probably fine. But it is out west. Who knows? They could jump both if they all win, but they'd have to smash the Dogs because they're like 6.1% and 8.3% to jump up. So they'd have to absolutely obliterate the Dogs. If the Demons lose, they could be in 7th, unless Geelong or Adelaide lose. Then they'd be 6th, but I don't think that's going to happen. If the Dogs win, if the Pies lose, the Dogs can get to 8th. If the Dogs win and the Pies win, they're just in 9th. If the Dogs lose, they can just be 10th. So it's a bit of a rough one because Carlton, that'd be if Carlton win, right? Because Carlton's got a better percentage than them. So I
was going to say they could also stay where they are.
Yeah, most likely stay 9th, I dare say.
Yeah.
Geelong, Richmond, if the Cats win, they're top 6, basically, unless the Crows smash GWS and make up 5.1%. And then that'd be 7th if Brisbane, Hawthorn, and Melbourne all win. I don't want to play the Cats.
Unreal.
What's going on? If the Cats lose to Richmond, which would be the funniest, they'd be 7th if Adelaide also beat GWS.
And the other part of that you haven't noted there, Jim, is that if the Tigers do happen to win, they basically erase any chance of pick 1.
Yep.
So go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Adelaide GWS, if the Crom win, they could still finish top 6 as well if Geelong, Melbourne, Hawthorn or Brisbane lose. Amazingly, if they all lose, Adelaide could be top 4. I don't see Geelong, Melbourne, Hawthorn and Brisbane all losing, however. So if those teams all win, Adelaide are stuck in 7th. To jump Brisbane or Hawthorn, they have to lose and the Crows have to have a massive, massive, massive win, right? As I sort of mentioned. If Adelaide lose to GWS, they're in 7th. So, and then West Coast Hawthorn. Hawthorn, if they win, they're top 4. If Brisbane lose, Hawthorn will get to 3rd. Not bad. If the Hawks lose to the Eagles, they can drop all the way to 7th if Melbourne, Geelong win and Adelaide smash GWS. So there is a lot going on. Like, this is me going through all the different permutations, checking my sources, going to 2-3 different things going, I think I've got this right. And there's so many moving parts in all of this that, yeah, as of today, there wasn't even like odds for half of these games because people are just like, I don't know who's going to be playing in these games. So here we are.
Well, that's, exactly right.
So it's all pretty crazy. I don't know.
Pumped. I can't wait to watch it all unfold, Jim.
Yeah. We should probably now do like the round 24 preview. But before we do that, quickly, what was good this week? Gablet areas. Who was the best player I saw? Best on ground of the week of the round of the week. Werrell was it for me. He was absolutely awesome against the Bomb Rays. I did have him as my Supercoach captain as well, so it's sort of doubling down on how good he was. Was it 47 touches, I think, in the end? It was something absurd.
Yeah.
He was absolutely everywhere.
47.
So he is pretty bloody good. So, yeah, that's it for me. How about you, Jez?
Well, I've got 2. I'll split it. Both from the same game. Caleb Sarong, unreal. I think he had 29 and 2 goals. And again, Isaac Rankin, he's unreal. Like, if he can put a full season together of this form, Dacos areas. Dacos areas. 39 and a goal. I think last week he had, 40 odd and a couple of goals. So, yeah, he's a jet. I love him. I actually love watching Isaac Rankin play. I'm fingers and toes crossed that next year he has a full year on the deck, doesn't say anything silly or have any soft tissue injuries, and we get to see the best of him for the whole year.
Yep. It's a good shout. What else? We had, who are you buying a beer this week? For me, it's easy. It's Will Hayward. I did think about Aaron Norton. I'd like to buy him a beer for those misses. It was very much appreciated. But the Will Hayward, like that specky, everybody in the pub lost their mind. And then as he was landing, you're like, whoa. And like you could hear the, whoa, oh. It was, pretty fraught. And then clapping and cheering as he's gone back and kicked the goal. It was absolutely off its head just at the pub in Brunswick. So that was fun. Yeah. So I'll shout him a tin. What about you, Jez?
Well, I'm going to go with Alir to cop a pretty rough hit and get knocked out in I think, what was it, his 200th game? That was a bit rough. So I think he probably needs a beer to, once he recovers from his concussion. So that's season over for him too if he's in the concussion protocols as well. So I'll buy him a beer and he can have that as Essendon no doubt probably beat his Port Adelaide pair on the weekend and cost themselves pick one.
Like that. Old mate, no mates, Dylan Moore, because he had no mates telling him what was going on or clearing out the Collingwood defenders or helping him get the ball over the line or telling him just aim for the closer bit. Or just like the siren's about to go, just get it over the line.
Just get it through these sticks. It doesn't matter which ones.
It was such a weird situation. And, yeah, it felt like he was sort of out there on a bit of an island and no one really went to him. No one really spoke to him. And it was just kind of...
It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, get some mates, Dylan Moore. I don't know if you've got one there, Jez, but the spud of the week.
I've got a few.
Yeah.
I've got a few... No, not old mate. Well, old mate, no mates. I don't know. I reckon the Hawks boys probably in general. Like are they dumb? Are they just a dumb footy team? Like they're clearly talented, but they do some dumb stuff.
They do.
And yeah. Anyway,
I think it's like one of the things like when you look at the finals and you're like, what could trip them up? And you're like, yeah, them maybe just being pretty dumb. Might trip them up, and yeah, it's a bit of a worry because I think spud of the week, like this could be Tom Barrass, it could be Wiz. Wiz going back to back, I think would be pretty funny. 0 goals, 0 points. He had 20 touches, but still not as impactful as you'd sort of like him to be. But I think the big spud,
kicking goals.
Yeah, the big spud for me is Petrarca. Like I don't know what's happened, and it's weird. He was so good to start the year. Pings a calf, or was it a hammy? I can't remember. It was like round 4, round 5, round 6. Whatever.
I think it was a hammy. Yeah,
and just has been horrible essentially since he came back. Yeah, I think he's had like 2 good games really, maybe 3 since he came back, and like the vibes are completely shot, and it's painful to watch him. I'm like, what is?
Yeah.
Like against the Blues, he was absolutely nowhere. Like this week, he was absolutely nowhere. It's weird. So I don't know. He could probably, the cool thing about it is he could probably whip up a nice bunch of spuds for you, like in the kitchen. So maybe he needs to get back in the kitchen, get the spuds out, make me a delicious, like, I don't know.
He's got the baked potatoes there. He's got the Christian, and then he's got the the Bailey Humphrey over here, and a few others.
Come on, Petrarca. Like, what's the one where they slice the potatoes nice and not julienne, is it? It's like, and it's got the creamy
like scallop.
Scallop potatoes.
Scallop potatoes.
Can't track. Get around that.
Who's your Gold Coast at the moment? There's scallop potatoes.
Scallop spuds. What about you, Jez? Your spuds of the week.
Well, I have a bit of a list, and I'll try and keep it quick. But there's a couple on field. And one of them I take, actually, both former Essendon listed players. One of them player, Sam Draper, 4 disposals and got absolutely towed up by Ned Moyle. Team won, so it didn't really matter, but I took great delight in seeing that. And the other one was, and it's probably more of a personal reason for picking him, but the Prancing Pony. As I did message you early on Saturday with he might have cost me a tidy little sum in a multi-bet that I had on, but these last couple of weeks he's been building into some Ben Mackay-like areas. Does tend to get a little bit more of it than Ben, and he's a bit harder at it, but I think he's due for a big one, so I'm going to spud him. But adding to my list, Jim, is the commentators who keep calling every game the game of the year. I think we've had about 18 games of the year. I heard Anthony Hudson going off his stupid little rocker about the Carlton and Bulldogs game, calling that the game of the year. When not even 24 hours earlier, whoever was on the Saturday night call said that was the game of the year, even after they called. I swear it happens 3 times a week. It's just shut up. Not every game has to be the game of the year, you idiots.
Well, Freo Melbourne was the game of the year last week, and then we had Geelong Hawthorn Easter Monday. Was that game? No, not Easter Monday. Was that Easter Monday?
That was Easter Monday.
Easter Monday was a game of the year.
year.
We've had a lot of games of the year of the weeks, which I like. I'm all about that.
Just shut up, you nerds. And then add to what you mentioned earlier, the nerds carrying on about draws and all that. This round was awesome.
Yep. 2
draws, and the way they finish, like you've got Craig McRae looking like he's giving birth to another child, that excited. And then you've got the Hawks guys running around going, duh, what just happened? Sam, can you help us? Then you've got the Carlton boys all celebrating a draw because it means they're in the finals. The Bulldogs guys are like, well, we were already in the finals. Who gives us stuff? It was crazy. Like, why would you change that? It's such a unique part of, you have a draw in the NFL, for example, and you go and play overtime. Cool. We get overtime in the finals when it matters. In the season, it's cool. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, no, everyone thinks it's awesome except for the 2 teams that are playing in it. And even then, I'm pretty sure Collingwood and Carlton are pretty happy with it. So
exactly.
Yeah. And then the last one, I've lost my train of thought here, but the last one is the same nerds carrying on about, why do we need a wild card? Like, it's just rewarding crap. Does the what we just went through with the games that matter not say it all? Like, we've got 10 teams who could still, and it's a very long bow to draw, but could still win the premiership, Jim. Unlikely that probably 6 of them will, but
still,
stranger things have happened.
Yep, 100%. I do like it. The Spuds were out in force this week, which is nice to see. The Better Than Bootsmans were also out in force, though. Sam Swadling, he was good. 29 disposals, 7 marks, 7 intercepts, the draw-saving block at the line. Very, very smart by him. I enjoyed that. And obviously Billy Wilson to go with Harry Dean and Jagger Smith as well for the Blues. Billy Wilson was really, really good in that game, which was nice. Didn't really butcher it as much as he has in the past couple of weeks. So that was good. He was playing on Artie Jones, wasn't he? And for a lot of the time, yeah. So there's a bit of speed versus speed off that halfback, and it kind of worked ish. Yeah, kind of. I thought he did a pretty good job. Yeah. How about you, Jess? So I've got from one of my favourites, Vigo Vicentini from the Bombers. Nice. He came in last year and played in. He's a big, solid ruckman that we desperately need. He's had a lot of hamstring injuries this year, but he was going up against Brodie Grundy and ended up the game with 19 disposals, 9 marks, 14 hitouts, and his first goal in AFL footy. And he did some really good things around the ground. And him and Nick Bryan had a pretty good ruck tandem going there against, arguably the best ruckman in the game, other than Max Gawn. So yeah, it was one of those green shoots I mentioned earlier, Jim, and I was very happy to see it. I love a big, solid ruckman who likes throwing his weight around. Nice. And yeah, so he's going to be a good one, Jim. He's going to be right up there with my boy Nate Caddy when the time comes. I like it. Good stuff. All right, a very quick one single nah. Do we need to be talking about dead rubbers in round 24 in 2026? Yeah, nah. Nah. What are we doing? Why? There's nothing you can do about it, Jim. What are they going to do? Change the fixture so that you... Just every game matters. Just imagine you'd have so much more like drama trying to get the 8. It's like there was a lot of drama this week to make the 10, and that entire 10 is still being shaped. Literally like 8 spots of the 10. There's literally 2 spots. That's it. That are guaranteed. In other years, we've had so many other spots locked away. Essentially, like this is crazy. I think this is a really fun. Like as I just rattled off all the permutations for these games this weekend, like it is absolutely nuts what can and can't happen. And like what'll happen out of that is we'll have 2 games and then off we go. Yeah. So it's all going. And some of these dead rubbers will just end up being absolute shootouts. There'll be no defensive pressure because their teams are checked out. It'll just be just high disposals, high scoring, and chaos. So with that said, next week what we'll do is we'll do our biggest surprises, disappointments, how far off we were on some of our over-unders. So we'll revisit the over-unders from the start of the season. One or two we're all way off. A couple we nailed. A couple of the sort of long shots that I think I believe one of the bigger calls you made was that Port were going to be absolutely horrible, and you nailed that. There was one or two other ones where we're like, ooh. So we'll go through all of that and sort of also throw out our awards for the season as well, because we'll only have 2 games to preview next week because it'll be wildcard round. So let's do the round 24. Oh, there's dead rubbers preview. Starting with the dead rubber, St Kilda Gold Coast on the Thursday. This means absolutely nothing to anybody, which is great. The Saints are 10.5 point favourites, right?
Yeah, it's got to be at Marvel, doesn't it?
Yep.
I'm just getting the fixture up so I can follow along. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Saints I think the Suns, going by your theory of the 28th parallel, Jim, and how ordinary they've been, I think that they've probably got one foot on the plane to wherever they're going to keep out of trouble this off-season.
Yep. Boys, we're going to Tahiti. That is... like the 2 most disappointing teams facing off in round 24 is pretty funny. I love it.
That could be a tough call, that award. There's another team that can go in there.
Absolutely brutal. Friday, we have an absolute belter of a game. Collingwood, Brisbane, 8th versus 3rd. Obviously, this does mean a lot for both teams. The Pies, maybe not so much as the Lions, so they might look at resting some folks, because I guess if they stay in 8th, they host a wildcard game.
Guaranteed a home final.
It doesn't really matter. So, yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Yep.
And the Lions, if they want to stay 3rd, they have to go out and beat Collingwood. So, they are 22.5 point favourites at the G on Friday night, Brisbane. One thing that they did yell about during that Collingwood game was just how, all the talk about Collingwood having no young kids are any good, that was all overblown. It's like, was it? I mean, they pulled off a win against a Hawthorn team who's a lot of the time running around like a chook with its head cut off. Like, let's be honest here. But I mean, the Pies youngsters, this is a really good time to keep blooding them. So I just don't know if they can stick within 22.5 of a Brisbane team that really needs to win. But at the same time, Brisbane they were pretty good against Gold Coast. They sort of just shoot them off.
Did what they had to, yeah.
Would you trust them to cover 22.5 at the G though, Jez?
I think Collingwood will keep this close, but I think Brisbane will win it. So I'm gonna go with the Pies to cover.
I'm gonna go Brisbane because I am 2 beers behind you from the picks for across the entire season. With a score update of 102 and 100, I got to get this back to flat even, or else I could be out a couple of tins. Saturday, Carlton Freo. I'm taking the Squid to this one.
Ooh.
It was a fraught decision because I'm like, I don't want to see us get our heads kicked in. Like, the last game we went to was the Suns game. We had the entire family there, left with like good vibes. And like, I don't think we'll get to go to the...
Why ruin it?
Exactly. And it's like, but it's a really early Saturday afternoon game. It's really easy to get to from our joint. So we're going to go. Yeah. And Freo might rest a bunch of folks.
They've done it before.
Carlton plus 10.5. I'm going to take the Blues.
I am going to take Freo in the interest of keeping our tips interesting, but I also would not be surprised if they rest 10 people. Yeah,
it's interesting. I think the way the Blues have been playing at Marvel has been pretty impressive, but I think Freo is probably going to be a little bit too good, but I'll take the 10.5 points, and if they can keep it close to Freo...
I think they'll do enough, yeah. Freo have done all year is just enough.
Yep.
They've had those couple of games where they've gone, actually, this is how good we really are. And, I think it was North, and the first time they played Melbourne, and there's probably 1 or 2 others. But for the most part, they seem to get their wins by that sort of 3 to 5 goal mark and just hang around there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is another one where they just, they give Carlton a sniff to keep them in it, but just sort of go, just stay over there. You're right. You're good. You're not too bad, but we're much better.
I am like just as soon as I was like looking at the tickets, I'm like, I don't really want to subject us to this, but it's the last chance we'll go.
But
we'll
if
have
you
to go
play
Marvel
well,
and if they play well, you're okay.
if you play well and lose, then you're happy enough.
Yep.
And hopefully Freo wear those sick jumpers that they wore on Thursday night.
So good.
The old Wolfie time ones. They are the best. I love them. Got to get me one of them.
Absolute throwbacks to like what? Scott Waters, Ben Allen, all the greats.
Oh,
Clive Waterhouse. We have Melbourne Western Bulldogs.
Gary
Turco. 4:15.
I can roll on Winston Abraham, Peter Mann, Ben Allen. I'm just remembering all the footy cards from back in the day.
Tony Modra was on the Dockers as well to start off with.
He was, yep. Nice. Yep. He won a Coleman medal playing for Freo.
Melbourne Dogs.
He's only won.
16.5-point favourites of the Demons at the G, Saturday Arvo. I'm going to go the Demons. I think they kill the Dogs in this one just to sort of give themselves their best crack at a proper top 6, maybe even top, 4, as I said. So there's a lot going on there. I think they kill the Dogs in this one, who just sort of take it easy again. What do you reckon, Jez?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ds as well. I'm loving the way Melbourne are playing. I'm as I've mentioned a few times, I've got some mates who are D supporters, so I'd be keen to go along to this one.
Nice. And
just have a look. The other one, the Collingwood Brisbane one's the other one that I'm keen to go to a game this weekend, Jim. So one of those two I'll decide closer to see how we go. But yeah, that's that'll be interesting. It depends on how hungry the Dogs are as well, because they can't really move. Like, they're in the wild card. I think you mentioned they can potentially finish as high as 8, maybe 10. They're probably going to stay where they are, win, lose, or draw.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can't see them really. You might find they'll rest a couple. They do have a pretty extensive injury list. So, and a few, like Liberatore, for example, you wouldn't want him getting a concussion in a game like this. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dogs play a little bit cautious and the Ds just go, we're awesome and we're going to smash you.
Yeah, I think it's like a case of one team that's got something to play for. They're at home. They've been awesome at home all year. And
they don't lose on a Saturday or Sunday arvo at the G. So
I think they easily cover that. Geelong, 60.5-point favourites against the Tigers. I'm going the Cats because this is at taxpayer stadium as well, so down in Geelong. Yeah, I think the Cats don't have any problems in a feline bowl. Cats v Tigers. Go Cats.
I don't think they'll have any problems, but I think what they'll do is get 5 to 6 goals up and cruise, and I think the Tigers will cover because the kids will throw everything at it for the last game of the year. Geelong won't want to get anyone hurt, and you'll probably find some of the bigger names might spend a bit more time on the pine, and I think they'll probably end up winning by about 8-9 goals, and the Tigers will walk away with a little bit of positivity. So I'm going to go with the Tigers to cover that one.
And Adamu's a moral victory. My vibe for this is Geelong just end up playing like, I don't know how against the rules it is, but if they've got like 10 dudes on the bench and they're just like, it's fine. 14 on 18. Who cares, man? Like, just let them have it.
Yeah.
Then we have Adelaide GWS, which is only a 24.5-point line for the Crom, which I thought was shockingly low because I think they're going to go out and try to obliterate GWS, who at Adelaide Oval, I'm just not convinced that they're any good. So I'm going to go Adelaide to cover this by a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. GWS, as we carry on about, they obviously have that record-breaking quarter against the reigning premiers. There is a chance they could come out and win this game by 10 goals.
Yep.
I think the way they played on Sunday, I think they might. There's more chance that Jake Stringer becomes the most successful fish oil salesman in the history of the Australian economy. So, yeah, I've got to go with Adelaide there.
I love it. Absolutely love the Jake Stringer fish oil supplement story.
It's gold. And it's actually, you can add that to the news because there was another trade rumour with apparently he and potentially Jesse Hogan are out the door, which is very interesting, Jim. Probably something we can explore a bit more in the off season, but just thought that was quite. It shows not all is well at greater west of the Sydney.
Yeah, building a great culture there where no one wants to hang around. Sunday, your beloved Essendon hosting Port Adelaide, and in what could be the funniest outcome ever if they win this and go full North Melbourne. You never go full North Melbourne, Jess.
Mark my words. Mark my words, Jim. Essendon will win this game.
12.5-point favourites against the Power. I do have to take Essendon because I think they cover that, if nothing else.
Are we the favourites?
Yeah. Underdogs.
Are we favourites?
12.5-point underdogs, yeah.
Yeah, I mark my words. We will win this game. Stupidly, we will win this game.
Nice. All right, both taking Essendon one last time. Woo!
I can't even go to the game either.
Tough.
Shattered.
So, before the news broke today, this line for Sydney North Melbourne was 28.5, and now there is not a line as I look right now, which makes sense considering no one knows what's going on with the Swans. So I can actually check that. I'm pretty sure it was 28.5. Obviously, though, the Roos without Sheasel makes it a bit tougher for them. Swans likely resting everybody and anybody anyway before this news came out. So
yes, resting.
Yeah.
I'm going to take North no matter what, because I think regardless of what the line is, I think they'll cover it. I actually think they'll probably win it. Obviously, depending on... I actually don't think it's going to matter who the players are. I think the scandal itself is probably going to be enough to rock the entire place. I'm going to go with North. I think I'm going to be barracking for North. I've got no love for Sydney at all right now.
Pay that.
Sorry, Jim. I've got no love for them.
I completely agree. I'm going the Roos here. I don't think Clarko goes into this going, let's just take it easy, boys. I think he goes in and goes for the throat.
I think Clarko goes in and goes, let's rub it right in.
Yep. And then finally,
go the Shimboners.
The final game of the regular season, the home and away season. I do love it when people get antsy. Regular season's American. It's like, is it? It's just the regular season. It's the home and away season where they're playing home and away. You know what they do in the finals? They play home and away as well. I'm just saying. The Eagles hosting the Hawks. We have a bird bowl. So the Squid and I talked about this morning. He's like, Dad, what would be the most fun matchups of all the weeks where you have like the mascots playing against each other? I'm like, you have come to the right fella. So I went through each and every single one. We've got bird bowls, we've got feline bowls, we've got cats versus dogs, we've got saints versus demons, you got bombers versus giants. You've just got crazy stuff going on. And I feel like this is the real education that he's getting in life. It's like, yes, these are the important things that you can sit around drunk with your mates later on in life and discuss. And you need to have a good grounding when it comes to this sort of dumb stuff. So this bird bowl, the Eagles are 43.5-point underdogs at home against the Hawks, which I thought was a pretty big number. Like, I get that the Hawks are pretty good, but the Eagles at home have played teams pretty tough. So I think I'm going to take the Eagles.
I like it, Jim. So part of the education is you go back to the, I think this was in the news a little while back about whether or not 100 men could beat one gorilla. So I equate West Coast to the 100 men, and I equate Hawthorn to the gorilla, as Hawthorn were once called the Gorillas. And West Coast, I believe 100 men probably have played for West Coast. So that's my logic anyway. So I think that the gorilla will beat the 100 men, but I think the 100 men will go pretty close. So I'm going to take West Coast as well.
Wow. So we have three different this week, I think, with you with the 2-pick lead. So you could end up either owing me.
I could end up owing you a beer.
You can, after all this, you could end up owing me a single beer.
It's just that'd be an Essendon thing to happen. Like we'll win, and get pick 2, and then I'll owe you a beer. Shit.
That'd be great. Anyway, there you go. That's the previews for round 24. Slevo's Punters Club. So I hit on both of mine this week. Charlie 4+ and Essendon Sydney over, which covered pretty late, but it did. I think it ended up at 184.5, and I think it ended up, 187, I want to say off the top of my head. I believe.
Yep. Sounds about right.
But it did go over.
I'm pretty sure we got done by.
Yeah, 188. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, nice.
So it just got there, which was good. And I think your last week one did hit as well. The Charlie, Harry, and Jai missed to combine for 10 goals. I think they got to 11 between them. For a minute there, it looked like Charlie.
If only I'd put money on it.
Charlie was going to get 10 by himself, I thought. But Jai Miss had what? I think 5. Charlie had 4, and Harry kicked 2, I think, in the end. So got to 11. So this week for me, it's Shannon Neal 4+ against the Tigers, as long as he's named. He might be one of the ones that they sort of just, I don't know, hang out. But I don't know, Geelong probably want to blow the doors off of Richmond, I reckon. And I think his size down forward, especially the cattery, I think he goes absolutely whack. So I might actually even sort of ladder him 3, 4, 5 and go from there. Otherwise, as you said, like a couple of these dead rubbers can go full shootout because no one cares. So I'd sort of be looking at the overs even for the St Kilda Suns game on Thursday. Geelong Richmond again, probably overs there too. But especially like Essendon Port Adelaide, like just who knows what could happen in that game. So yeah, bit of an interesting one. Some weird stuff could happen easily. What about you, Jez? What's your Slevo's Punters Club?
Well, I'm going to go with. I'm gonna stick with the combination because it obviously worked for me pretty well. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to leave Harry in there, because I'm waiting for Harry I'm not willing to go Harry McFive this week. But I'm going to leave Harry in there, and I'm going to throw in Nate Caddy. And I'm also going to who else? Who's the lucky last one? I reckon. And I'm going to throw in Jack Gunston. For all to combine for 10+.
That'd be interesting to see if
because I think
will Gunston actually make the trip?
He may not play.
That's the one. Yeah.
He probably won't, but if he does, that'd be interesting. But I think maybe I'll shoot you a message once the teams come out, Jim, and if we need to, we can readjust these ones because obviously we're going a little bit blind, being that it's Monday and the teams will come out Thursday, and probably half of these people we've mentioned. Imagine if none of them played. That'd be weird.
I feel like someone like,
but also it wouldn't surprise me.
Someone like Suva for North. I think he had a nice little run this week. Don't know how it go at the SCG, but I think the other big one for me is probably the Crows really laying into the Giants. And so someone like Fogg at Adelaide Oval going big for like 4 or 5 wouldn't be sort of a surprise to me.
Let's take Gunston out and put the Fogg in there.
Nice.
We'll go with that. You've talked me into it, Jim.
There you go, twisted your arm.
My punting consultant.
Nice. All right. I'm going to press the button.
Do it, Jim.
Because that's it for the round 23 wrap. We head into the final round of the season. Can you believe it? What a run it is. So this is the thing I say like all the time on NFL Australia and NBA Australia is never trust anyone who says, I always say. So never trust them for that. But you got to appreciate the nuts and guts of the season when it's happening because you blink and you're in round 24 and you're like, what the hell happened, man? It's like the 3rd week of August. We've got, the good thing is we have a month and a half of finals. That's okay. But still, like, you got to appreciate the round 8 matchups, the round 14 matchups, because, you blink and the season's done. So it's been crazy. What a fun year, though. I'll tell you what. 1-9, the Blues, and now they're in the bloody wild card. That's awesome. Right.
Premiership favourites to a 10-game losing streak, the Fold Coast Suns.
Amazing.
So.
All right. So make sure you're following us across all the socials, of course. Make sure you're subscribed on your podcast app of choice on YouTube. Jump in the comments, rate, review, star, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. It's 2026. You know what to do. Help
5 stars.
Help your mates Jim and Jez out. And make sure you're jumping on the YouTube. set the notifications on. So every time it gets uploaded, you get a little ding and it'll tell you the full show's up on YouTube's. But yeah.
Or I can come around and knock on your door and remind you to download it.
There you go.
So I'll give that service to anyone within a 15-kilometre radius of my house.
All right.
Just before you shoot, Jim, we've got I've got my youngest son Zach playing in his grand final for the Wannie South under-15s on Sunday. So they'll be playing Heathmont, and then Learmonth, unfortunately, with the no result, dropped to 6th spot. So they're in an elimination final at the same time on Sunday at Bungaree against Buninyong. So I won't be able to get there and watch, but hopefully they have a good finish to the season and can go one more week. But local footy could be over for me this weekend, Jim.
Jeez.
I'm hoping I'll get at least another week or two, but yeah. So everything into Wantirna South and hopefully they can come home premiers. And
Nice.
yeah.
That's good. Bungaree, just around the corner from my grandparents' place, where they all, had the farm and everything. Bungaree Oval. They've kicked the footy on there.
Apparently it was underwater early when Avoca flooded the other week too.
Not surprise me.
So,
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Cold, I'll tell you. Cold.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's it. Round 24 coming up. Then we'll have wildcards. It's going to be crazy. So we've got lots of fun stuff to do next week. Can't wait. Wildcard. Yeehaw! Play the drop, Jim. Play the drop.
Why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
Nothing better.
That is
Nothing
the
better.
best.
Why aren't the brakes working? All right. That's it. Stay off the rubbish gear. It's Footy Unfilterated. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.